This is Richard with JR Propo, and this is the third in a series of videos regarding how to set up a new helicopter model in the JR T44 transmitter using the JR Tags Mini 3-axis flybarless gyro system. In the last video, we finished tying the gyro gains to the flight mode switch through the gyro sensitivity menu, and we converted the trim tabs for aileron, elevator, and rudder to trim input switches, which will allow us to adjust the gains for each of these three axes for each flight mode while in flight. We're going to start by turning on the transmitter, then pressing the L button on the left of the screen to bring us into the function list menu. From the function list menu, we're going to select dual rate and expo. Now it's already highlighted here, but if you're not there, you can scroll around until you find it, highlight it, and then click the roller. This is going to take us into the dual rate and expo menu. Now note that it says aileron here and also position 0. There's a screen like this for aileron, elevator, and rudder. So you can set the dual rates and expo differently for each one and for each flight mode. We're going to scroll down to screen 3 of 4. And this is where we're going to tie the flight mode switch in so it controls the dual rate and expo for aileron. You'll notice this is aileron, to the right of it position 0, and then below that it says input aileron switch. Well, right now the default aileron switch is the one on the right top of the transmitter right here. We want to control the dual rates from the flight mode switch. So we're going to scroll down to where it says input. It says aileron switch there. Highlight, click. Now we have a menu like we've seen in the previous two videos, which allows you to see all 4 available switches to control the aileron, dual rates, and expo. We're going to flip our flight mode switch. And so now the input switch will be the flight mode switch. We're going to scroll over to the middle of the screen where it says FM Auto. It says normal, and then to the right of that switch, we highlight that, scroll to P0 for position 0, and click the roller. We scroll down to SD1, where it says switch, highlight and click, select P1 for position 1. Scroll down to ST2, where it says switch, and select position 2. That quickly, our flight mode switch will now control the dual rate and elevator functions for the ailerons. We're now going to repeat the operation for the elevator and rudder. So we scroll back to where it says aileron, highlight, click the roller. We have a small window appearing that says aileron, elevator, and rudder. Scroll down to elevator, highlight, and click. And once again, we see the input is the default elevator switch. We want flight mode, so we're going to scroll down, highlight elevator switch, click the roller, flip the flight mode switch. Then we're going to go to the center where it says flight mode auto and do exactly the same thing we did for the aileron. Highlight switch next to norm, select P0, click the roller, scroll down, highlight switch again, click the roller, select P1, go to ST2, highlight SW, click the roller, select P2. Now we have to do this one more time for the rudder channel. Go back to elevator, I overshot it there. Click elevator, go down to rudder. Scroll down to input, which again is the default rudder switch. Highlight and click. Flip our flight mode switch. Input is now flight mode, and go back to FM Auto. Next to norm, we highlight and click on SW, change it to P0. ST1, same thing. Highlight SW, click the roller, change it to P1. And for ST2, we change it to P2. And that quickly, the dual rate and exponential functions for aileron, elevator, and rudder are all controlled through our flight mode switch. We're now going to scroll back up. We're going to go back to aileron. So I scroll back to where it says rudder, highlight and click. Scroll up to aileron, highlight and click. We're now going to scroll up to screen 1-4. Now in this table, actually there's two tables. We have for position 0, 100% and linear, position 1, 100% and linear, position 2, the same thing. Now we see position 3, and if we scroll to the next page, we can see actually 4 more positions. We haven't armed any of those to be controlled. We don't really need 7 flight modes or 8 flight modes. All we want is 3. So P3 and on to P7 will not actually accomplish anything. But let's scroll back to the dual rate under position 0. Now, let's say I have a fairly quick helicopter and I want it to be more docile for hovering maneuvers. So I'm going to highlight what says 100%, and I scroll it down to about 75%. Let's say that I want it softer still around the center so I can be really precise. So I'm going to scroll to the right. I'm going to highlight where it says linear, and I'm going to scroll to the right to increase the expo. And with JR, positive expo is softer around center, negative expo is quicker around center. I can do this independently for each of the 3 flight modes for aileron, elevator, and rudder, and have all the settings independent. So we've now finished tying in our flight mode switch so that it controls dual rate and expo for aileron, elevator, and rudder. In the next video, we're going to confirm that the throttle and pitch curves are controlled by the flight mode switch. We're going to set up a throttle hold switch, and we're going to set up a stick-activated countdown timer. Thank you.